Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And the next time you're at Buc-ee's, go to the bathroom and fill one of the toilets with 4 pounds of baby carrots and one pair of shoes. Become ungovernable. But last night we did a live stream and we ended up going in on this Wartech right here. So, what happened was the original knife that the D20 of Destiny picked out had a bunch of problems. It just came out of the gate weak. Nothing was working on it, so I'm pretty sure I've got to go in there and hog off a ton of material, completely reprofile the edge from the ground up. So, we went to our backup. And let's take a look at what we're holding. And first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got these the steel frame and the steel liner right here. We have got thumb studs, so let's flick the stud. It's an assisted opener, and we have got about 3.5 inches ish of 3CR13 steel. And of course, we have got the gold colored plating on this thing, and we have got the fakest Damascus humanly possible on it. So, I bought this last year around Halloween thinking I'd do something funny with it, and I never had the right video idea, so that brings you and me to this point in time and space. Together. But, I had this out as just something to goof around with if the original knife crapped out early because that one's supposed to have a low HRC and we didn't know what to expect from it. We'll get to that one later once I get the edge cleaned up, but until then, we're looking at this thing. So, this is Wartech, and I mean, look at it. The skulls right here entertain me to no end, but this is primo flea market knife material. And that's why I bought it. I was thinking skulls, Halloween. I wanted this to try to beat on it and see if we could break the gold coating down. And of course, these coatings do not break down unless you really, really scratch the living daylights out of it. So, we went in on it. And we started off with the factory edge with minimal use on it at, we got a 320 on that, give or take. I'm running very, very low on calibrated test clips for the edge sharpness tester, so we're doing the manually loaded spool for right now. And I've been getting reliable numbers off it, but we started around 392. And we went for our first hour, and it went down a little bit. We're starting to get a big snag cutting the paper, and after an hour and a half, we went to 679. And after an hour and a half of cutting, this is what we got out of it. I mean, that edge was devastated. So we figured, all right, it's time to practice my hand sharpening because cheap knife. And we sat there and I did the things, and I'm still learning this. So one thing we got is, if you can see the bevel right here, let's see if we can get some light on that. Yeah, right there. Like, this is a fairly even bevel, but you get to this side, and because of how the factory edge was, it tapers and gets to a very thin edge up here on this side. So the next thing that I need to learn how to do is hog material off of just part of this without messing the whole edge up. Because the last time I tried, I pulled way too much material off of here and really left a nasty jacked up looking mess. So that's kind of reporting into you guys with part of what we were working on is, I'm learning how to hand sharpen, and that's how that went last night. So, we did get the hand sharpening in on it, and we got it down to 143 on the scale. We got about the best I can do with my edges right now. Tiny hair higher than the best edge we've gotten so far. And we started cutting again. And on the factory edge, it cut pretty nicely. There was no complaints there coming out of the gate. So starting in with that 143 edge, cutting on it was a breeze. And we went for our first hour, and of course, it did 3CR13 things. That edge was blown down to 500 too. We kept pushing. We got into our second hour. It hit 566. At 2 hours and 20 minutes, it was finally letting go, and we hit 610 on the scale. Now, we didn't have 100% edge devastation. We were seeing the really bad cuts on that cardboard, and they were starting to get very frequent, but they weren't completely gone yet. But we were at 7 hours and 40 minutes on that live stream, and I could not keep going. So we called it as done enough and moved on. And the biggest takeaway from this is, for a gas station knife, one, the 3CR13 held up better than expected. If you put a new edge on one of these things and you get the right edge angle on it and you get it refined enough, you add quite a bit of time to the retention over a factory edge. Those factory edges will be like, 18, 20 degrees per side, and they'll be micro bevels, so they're pretty easy to beat down beyond the point of cutting cleanly on material like cardboard. But you get the right edge on there, and almost always you add some edge retention. Geometry matters a lot. Geometry and refinement matter a lot. But really the other big takeaway from this thing is the ergonomics. All right, after doing the monocolor grenade on Sunday night where this got super inflamed and I think there is a blister under the callus, this has been very tender and sensitive. Like, it's still sensitive right now, and it's been a couple days, and of course, cutting this put a lot of pressure on something that already hurt. But, through all that cutting and all that pushing through cardboard as hard and fast as I could, this did not really make it worse. Yes, it became uncomfortable pressing on this for that long, but the ergonomics held up really well. Like, I kind of figured it would be alright, but it was better than expected, so that was a pleasant surprise. Believe me, after doing a couple live streams in a row, taking a day off and going back in on yet another one, very, very pleasant surprise. Real happy with that. So, this is one of those cases where it's kind of like M-Tech and Tac Force. The steel's pretty much always going to be garbage. Some things are going to be, they're going to feel really cheap about it. But, the fit up on all the parts here is pretty good. The action is pretty good. It is an assisted opener. And, of course, you can always hit your ring light whenever you want with one of these things. No one's going to stop you. But, the action's pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of assisted openers anymore. I will say a back flipper is a lot better than a thumb stud for that, but it's got a nice, strong detent. I mean, everything about it works well, and I would have I'd have full confidence that if I carried this and really beat on it, it would hold up for a long time. That's one of the other things with these gas station specials is they either work for 2 days or they work for 20 years. There's nothing in between, really. So I have full confidence that this would hold up for a long time unless I really, really went out of my way to do something incredibly intentionally destructive to it, which is kind of nice to see. And, of course, the audience that was watching, every time someone came in, they loved the gold coating on it, and I was entertained by the very fake Damascus on here that's just etched in, and you can kind of see the lines from the laser etch on it. And, again, the skulls, they're entertaining. So, the Cardboard Slayer session, it went better than I expected with this. I expected the hour and a half on the factory edge. I did not expect to add a whole nother hour to this just by hand sharpening. I'm very happy to see that my hand sharpening is doing that. But, oh my god, at the end of that, I wanted it to be done so bad. That wound up being an 8-hour live stream. I had a blast doing that. But, you guys know I love sharing with you what happened during Cardboard Slayer, and this is what happened with the Wartech. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate it so, so much. You have no idea what you're doing for me and the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We do have some giveaways coming up. We got our live streams. We got regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.